So welcome to another exciting session by Digital Vidya, the secret of SEO success in 2019. And for leading the session, we have Mr. Navneet Kaushal. Navneet is the founder and CEO of Page Traffic, a top-ranked SEO company founded in 2002. Navneet's expertise has established Page Traffic as one of the most awarded and successful search marketing agencies in the world. Page Traffic's solid success and acclaimed process has earned it a place in Red Herring's Asia's Top 100 and Top SEO's Global Top 30. And thank you so much for joining us, Navneet, today and sharing us some SEO strategies and tactics that will help us dominate the SERPs and earn more revenue in 2018.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Divya, for the introduction. Uh, Sorry, I have a bad throat, guys. So today we're going to talk about the SEO secrets of 2019. I'm gonna take you a little bit about what we have experienced in the last 1 year and what we expect this year to be actually. So the whole point here is the SEO is every year people think that SEO is something which is going to change, SEO is something which is going to die. But believe it or not, it's not dying. It's actually getting interesting every year. So let's see what happened now in last few years. Excuse me. Let's recap what has happened in the SEO in last 1 year. So I'm gonna just recap the last 1 year biggest search algorithm updates. The first algorithm update rolled out in Google Bracket core update, which focused on compelling and shareable content. So that was Google's John Mueller, who is the now spam chief and also looks after the spokesperson for the webmasters kind of. So this was an update which was not much information was provided by the Google, didn't had much of the websites. Then we had a zero result SCRP, which was interesting. So Google on something when you could ask a knowledge card, we're gonna go through it a bit. So you could ask people about things and Google will actually be telling about you could ask what is the time and if there would be no links for this. So the zero results SERP is very interesting, which I mean, as a marketer has been thinking what Google is trying these days is to have less and less people go out of their website. So which is actually killing the SEO, SEO click-through rates because of this. In fact, today's article, the mobile SERP or the click rates have gone down drastically, mainly because of the reason that the rankings that most of the results or the answers are provided by Google itself. So zero result SERP is one of them. 26 March, Google roll out one of the most touted update called Mobile First Index rollout, which was basically took them 2 years to roll out, and that's where Google said that they are going to index your mobile site first compared to the desktop version. So this was pretty much big update, and a lot of webmasters received a message for this. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this update as well. On 13th of May, there was a snippet length drop. So basically, the meta description became longer, which was going about 300 words. So Google decided to shorten them to 150 to 160 characters, which for a mobile was good. But again, for a mobile, it went lower, and because it makes sense to have just 110 characters. So that's what happened. 14 January, Google introduced video carousels. So that was basically now you can see the videos roll out by doing away with video thumbnails. So you can actually update and see that if your video, let's say for example, you type YouTube SEO, you would find the videos instead, which you can actually play directly from the result itself. So that was one of the big updates rolled worldwide. On 9 July, Google launched mobile speed update, which says that mobile is a ranking factor and speed is a ranking factor for mobile searches, and anybody with slow mobile searches actually took a hit. On 1st of August, the year's biggest update happened, which is called as Matic Core update. And this update influenced a lot of websites, which was basically EAT, which we're going to talk about a little bit. And this update, how this update has made the whole SEO for specifically for health industries and some major other industries, I'm going to talk, changed a lot for that. So let's see how 2019 is going to be. 2019, as we have seen, is what based on what we already are seeing, is going to be more about SEO and the usability. So on and on, we have seen that the usability is getting more and more important factor. There has been few studies also where users have confirmed that yes, if your website is not user friendly, you might take a hit. uh, Google launched something, Google Rank Brain. So what is exactly a UI? We're going to talk about something, Google Rank Brain. Interesting name. Let's see how they work. So this is how the search works. Google search engine crawls, Google crawls your website, index your website, and rank. That's how it was happening before. Now Google, a couple of years back, launched Google Rank Brain, which was an AER ranking. So it says they re-rank the page afterwards. So we're gonna do how about it. So what we know about ranking, first of all, when you type something, Google interpret that query, matches with the knowledge base assumption of what the internet user is looking, does then here it goes interesting. Once the result is served, you click on a result. Let's say if you're looking for YouTube SEO, and the first organic result you click, and you don't like the result, you go back. So the click-through rate is high, but the bounce rate is almost 70, 80, 90%. Google sees this is not a good page for a user, and that's where the rank brain comes into the picture. Remember, 15% of the queries every year are the queries which have never happened ever in Google. So it becomes important for Google to understand this and to serve users right results. Let's demystify what exactly is rank brain and how does it work. So this is how it works. Before rank brace, Google search was entirely coded by human. They would come up with theories how to improve search result, run research test. If results were positive, they will roll it out. If it was not, they won't. However, something they couldn't account, as I said, was that they have, what about the queries which has never happened before? And as I said, there are 15% queries which never happened before. Look at the stats. 2 billion searches every day happens. Out of those, 450 million search engine is never seen. And those were the queries which search engines doesn't, Google doesn't know how to process them. As the consequences, search results from these queries were often dissatisfactory. Therefore, Google needed a system which could actually match those search engines with the phrases, and that's where the rank brain came. So today, a lot of this work is done by rank brain. So, for example, it does analyze search queries to figure out what results users are looking for, measure user satisfaction rate, the results of their query, use the feedback to further improve. So, just an example. What is the label of a consumer at the highest level of food chain? So it's a name, to eat or buy, top, the. So we're gonna go a little bit more into it because I think this is going to be a major part of the presentation because this is something which is very huge. So going back, after you have typed something, it goes to the AI, which is Rank Brains, tries to connect the knowledge to popular searches, searches concept from the related keywords. From here, it infers what kind of a results I should show. The thing is that it's not about just serving the results. So for those 15% queries, what happens is now Google actually is looking how can it satisfy the results. So this means AI is actually now measuring the click-through rate. So if you go to if you are number one and you go through that keyword, or let's say somebody clicks on that URL and goes to your website, that's where the magic happens. It says how much time you have dwell time. Dwell time is how much time you spend on the page. What is the bounce rate? If you come back with the results to look for some other option, that's called as pogo sticking in our language. So if it's a low satisfaction, then it sees how it can improve. So to improve this, they actually decrease your rankings. Believe it or not, a lot of people have tested. We have also found if the user is, your site has a higher bounce rate and you are ranking in top 3, you have a very high rate of losing ranking. And vice versa, if your site has number 6 and you are getting more dwell time, you can actually get more clicks and you can actually get bump in ranking. Just an interesting trivia. Google asked a group of engineers to identify the best pages for a given search. They also asked rank brain. And look at this, accuracy predicting number 1, Google engineers 70%, rank brains 50%, 80%, sorry. Look at the results. SEO before rank brain. This is what we used to do. We would put information, meta, keyword rich. We would do keyword density. We would do keyword specific URL, and we will have the keyword specific copy. And that's the SEO before rank brain. Now it has changed. So you have meta information, keywords, and likely caution so that people clicks. You now have a broad keyword. You cannot have a narrow keyword. You're formatting in short and long tail keywords focus. So you mix a lot of short and long tail keywords, and your copy address the specific problem. So it's more becomes a UI problem where you reduce the bounce rate. Let's go further into it. So how RankBrain probably user UX signal works. So user type a keyword in Google, RankBrain turns these keywords into keywords, into concept, shows a set of results. If the page results, if the results satisfy user, yes, up rank their page. If there is a too lesser dwell time and a high bounce rate, then that page is going to be actually bumped down. So that's what has happened. Now what this has resulted is, this has resulted for producing similar results for some of these keywords and some of the long tail keywords. Now that means optimizing for long tail keywords is no longer enough. Just to give you an example, this is one of the keyword best SEO tools, and they are keyword best tools for SEO. These results are of truth. If you see out of top 10, these are almost similar, different keywords, same results, which clearly means you can't just optimize for one and you think that, yeah, for example, you can break it, because it's no longer going to just work that you pick a long tail keyword and try to optimize it. It's not possible. So how do you do that? It's very important. You look at the results. We rank for page traffic rank for number 3 there. It's both pages there we rank for almost towards the bottom. So, in fact, number 2 there we rank number 3. So the point what I'm trying to say is that this becomes long tail keywords are becoming little redundant. Let's say what we could do about that. So first of all, you need to understand that RankBrain is important if you are already ranking or you are already in somewhere because you want higher click rate. So it's important that you classify your page by search intent. So Google classifies types of requests: transactional, informational, and navigation. So transactionals are e-commerce. For example, specific shoes you are looking for, a specific iPhone, that is transactional search. Informational searches, for example, if you are looking for information about something, let's say New Delhi, let's say Narendra Modi, let's say Bill Clinton, any information you are looking comes with the informational, and that's where knowledge graph triggers. And the third is navigation. So users are looking for a very specific information to reach the particular website. That where is. So you need to understand how do you want that page to be served. You cannot have all three actually targeted towards the same page. Just an example, a transaction is good for e-commerce, and informational is good for a blog post, and navigational is good when you have a brand or when you are looking for something very specific about a person or product. Usage, as I said, uses metric. So page ranking high plus high bounce rate actually is going to be, that's where going to hit it. So page, what Google is actually looking for time spent on your page per session, and bounce rates. Just to clarify a little bit more. So that's how these stages of search are: discovery, consideration, decision. So you need to know if a particular page, what are you actually optimizing it for? Are you optimizing it for as a discovery? Are you optimizing it for the consideration, or is decision? So just as I talked about in video search, image search, vertical search engine, position view, ratings, for example, in comparison it comes ratings and reviews, product comparison, and in the decision making it becomes assistant. So you're looking for a specific store, subscription. So that's where it actually is going to. Now what this has done is the user experience. So previously we would say, yes, Google is all about links. Now what has happened, it's going to be more about user experience, which has become a key ranking factor. So in other words, Google is looking at a factor like dwell time and bounce rate to decide if your content is relevant and worth ranking. Just an example, if user clicks the #1 results but then immediately bounce back, that means the page doesn't answer their queries. Why would Google keep it at #1? Just think that way. Let's another example. On the other hand, if an article is ranking number 8, has a high CTR, and people read the entire article, they spend dwell time is more, then that page is likely offering great content and answering their queries. So that is where that page is actually going to get bumped, and you can actually try that. But of course, if you just think that if 1 or 2 people are not going to change this, so let's say maybe 1,000 people doing is going to, so a lot of people if are coming to your web page, that's where the middle is going to move, not just 1 or 2 people. And believe me, if you get it done, or if there is a way you could do it, you will see a bump in ranking in almost 2 days. We have seen it for one of our clients. Just to summarize the RankBrain, you need to optimize for low bounce rates and high dwell time. You can accomplish this. Just an example. How can you accomplish? You can include a video content to increase. You can break down the content into bite size, easy to read content is still king. Answer a user query at the top of the article. So when the person reaches your page, it's important that you answers the query immediately, then only. It's not gonna make sense that you have an article where the major intent of the write-up is coming into third paragraph. Remember, a user has generally takes 2 seconds to decide whether this page is going to read or not. Not 3, not 4, not 5, 2 seconds. So that's where it becomes important that you get above the fold content, which makes user actually perform or go further on that page. So let's say if I'm looking for how to increase CTR per page, and if somebody comes to my page and I say, is low CTR hitting you? That's where node I'm getting, yes, he has a problem, and I seems to be talking about his problem, and I'm going to give you a solution. So that's where the thing starts. And that's where RankBrain is. Believe me, guys, this is one of the most important factor which is going to change a lot of things in 2019, and you would be able to do it well if you start working now. Page speed, that's another factor we think, and this factor is actually discussed every year, is one of the another factor which actually influences the rankings. So if your website is loading in more than 3 seconds, 53% of the users will actually abandon your mobile site if it's taking more than 3 seconds. Again, smartphone users are 50% more likely to purchase something immediately compared to the user on a desktop, and that is compared to the last year. Google in 2010 actually said that Google ad rankings, speed is a ranking factor. They actually mentioned in Web Center, which we have discussed about, that page speed in our mobile search ranking also is a ranking factor. That's where they released in the January. So, and they actually implemented it in July 2018. So how you can do that? You could have an accelerated mobile page, very fast for users. You could have ranking factors like improve server performance. You can actually require caching, do caching. AMP might not be for everything, so you can't have an AMP for an Excel for your e-commerce website. Let's say, what are the tips and tricks to increase your mobile speed? You could use a CDN. Some of the CDNs are free. You can use optimized images. You could visit website like Short Pixels, where you can go and actually do that. Remove sliders. Honestly, they don't make sense. So you could remove these sliders. You can use system fonts. You can, of course, PHP 5 is going to retire later this in just few months from now. PHP 7 is something which is there. If your host allows PHP HTTP2, database, if you have too much of a redundant data, please do that. Here are some of the tools. You could use ggmetric, web page test, page speed insight tool, which they have recently updated. Chrome Dev tool now actually takes the data, gives the data to page site routes. That you can do. Since majority of you users are, in fact, we are using WordPress. So here are some of the WordPress. You could use WP Supercache, WP Rocket. Yes, WP Rocket is a good one-time investment. You can use AMP, WP Sweep for database optimization, and you could use Genesis for your work. And of course, as I said, you could migrate to PHP 7, which actually going to use that. Tools you can use for that: Deepcon, yes, a paid tool, but a little expensive, but worth the money. Then you have ggmetrics. You have web page test. You could use Chrome Dev tools, page speed by Google, and of course you can use Wiseware. Now, so we discussed about RankBrain, we discussed about site speed. Now we're going to talk about rich snippets. Snippets, Google has introduced a couple of years back. I'm sure most of you people understand what are these snippets. So let's just go a little bit briefly to start. So there are type of snippets which there are. For example, there is a paragraph snippet, there is a list snippet, there is a step how to series accomplished. So these are the question marks basically. Then there is a tables. For example, if you type top 100 keywords, so that's why Google is going to give more such keywords in Google, or top cars of 2019. That's where the list a tabular form. Then you have a media, images and videos. So if you type some celebrity, there might be an image and video. A brand name also triggers images and videos. So those are some of the things. Let's see what kind of a keywords comes with featured snippets. So if you see, this is just a breakdown. 41% of the questions asked by Google, if you ask in Google, triggers feature snippets. Propositions 17%, comparison 22%, and other keywords 7%. So look at the amount it does there. The thing is, if you want, how can I get me some? How is it possible for me to get these feature snippet? Very, very easy. First of all, it's easy to try your easy wins. So look for a feature snippet that you're already ranking organically in top 5. There are tools. SEMrush provides this. HARFS, one of the best tools we love, provides this. I just have an example shot from yesterday. So you see, we just type page traffic here, and so I just, if you see the SERP features, I have taken as a SERP feature as feature snippet, and these are where you see the inverted commas. That's where we already have a feature snippet. Let's say, look at the number 1 keyword. Look at the number one keyword which we have, which already is doing something here. So just a guide. Yeah. So if you look at the number 1 keyword, you would see SEO packages. It has a good scope to actually rank for a feature snippet. Most search keywords. So I get a lot of opportunities where I don't rank anywhere here for a featured snippet, and these are the some of those I can do. So let's say first we have discovered what are the keywords we want to. Remember, you can only get for featured snippets fast if you are already ranking in top 10. If you're not ranking in top 10, don't expect your page to be on your page to be on Google page 2 and expect a ranking. That's not going to happen. Let's start with a list of common questions. How we can do it. So you could type something, how to implement a nofollow, and it's not necessary that if you are not ranking someplace, you will not be able to implement feature snippets. So if you are, let's say that the first example was when you are already ranking. These were the quick wins. Now let's see, if you do not have a quick wins, how can you do that? Start with a list of common questions. Start writing these questions. Of course, we need to build backlinks to bump it up in top 10, and that's where the list or the snippet or the feature snippet will get triggered. So just a common question: how to implement a nofollow, how to implement no index, how to implement rel alternate text, so how to implement a very user agent. So these are just an example. When you have chosen what this, include transcripts with a clear outline of steps. So you should have a step and a transcript which actually talks about these question and answers. The content should provide a lot of more info than just how to. So identify, it's important. Just to summarize, identify a simple question, provide a direct answer, offer value added info, make it easy for users and Google to find. To briefly tell you, this is for a paragraph, it's important that you have at least a 44 words of paragraph. This was a research done by SEMrush, and that's what the data is. For example, for a list, it's important that you have at least 5 items in the list. And so if you see, the words per item should be 6. If you are looking for a table, then at least 3.7 and how 2.6 columns. If you're looking for an image, this is the actually height and width and pixel. And this is very good data you could use to decide what is the minimum, bare minimum you want to get ranked for the feature snippet. Let's move to the next very important trend which we are actually continuing to watch, is something mobile first index and voice search. So as we talked about Google in July, actually when mobile first index, Google in July also started having Chrome issuing warning about the security. So that means all the websites has to move to HTTPS, otherwise Google show those websites are not secure. So I will recommend, if you have not gone ahead and implemented SSL, now is the time, guys. So let's see how are the old results. This is how when you search, the old results would come. Now you could do voice-based searches, contextual triggers. So this is how we were doing, planning a route map on a map with pin as a stop. Present, you were using Waze to predict where I'm going. Future, you will predict what you want to do along the way. So that's something you could do. Past, you would use news for rainy days, looking through a newspaper. That's what you say. Now our phone tells it's gonna rain today. Future, phone tells you it's rainy day and offers you a suggestion. That's something which is there. Past, a runner recording there starts in the notebook. Present, you have an app and you have a smart like Fitbit fitness tracker. You could go to and it's actually going to tell about that. The future, it's actually something which is going to be rewarded for doing something right now. That's how search is changing. 2 trillion searches happens every year on Google. Imagine. Now the interesting thing, 1 trillion are non-mobile searches and 1 trillion are mobile searches. In fact, this has gone more than 1 trillion mobile searches. So 60% of the searches which happens on Google right now are happening through a mobile. Out of those 60%, let's say assume 1 trillion, 50 billion has other mobile, and 500 billion, sorry, happens on Android. So Android is taking 50% of the total searches which happens. Uh, Out of those Android searches, 400 billion Android text searches and 100 billion searches are having now voice based. So that's something very, very important to understand, that voice search is actually increasing. It's easy to assume that SEO is still about keyword ranking, on-page optimization, links. No. The big thing that has changed isn't with the SEO, it's with the people. So it's not the results or Google has changed. It's the more important thing is that our behavior has changed. So just an example, now this is where we are using all these searches for. Voice search is more than real error right now. As per Comscore, 50% of all searches by 2020 are going to be through a mobile or voice. For example, you can try Alexa, let's chess. You can have a 20-minute conversation tailored to your answer with Alexa. Right now, 25% of Android searches in the US are voice searches. That's something happened. Interesting fact, why do we do voice? Human can speak 150 words per minute versus typing 40 words per minute. And that's something important. 28% think voice search is more accurate web searching. And as I said, 50% of all searches will be voice searches by 2020. And almost by 2020, about 30% of the searches won't even have a screen. Just to give you a timeline about that. September 2014, Badu, 1 in 10 queries came through speech. June 2015, Siri handles the Apple Assistant. More than 1 billion requests per week through speech. And May 2000, 25% searches performed on window test via voice. And if you look at the 2020, where I'm saying it's going to be a 50% searches. Let's see how search is changed. Previously, we would do text-driven keyword search. Then we had a Google Panda update coming, which eliminated duplicate content issues. Then in 2012 came the Google Penguin, which started penalizing for bad links. Then we have content put emphasis on more content. And then, of course, now we are coming about voice question. Interesting factor about the voice search. Text search are more concentrated around 1 to 3 words. So it's like we either type 1, 2, 3 words. And speech, when we ask something from Alexa or from Google Assistant, they are going almost 7 words or more. So that's something which is happening. Now let's see who is using voice search. 55% of the teens and 45% of the 41% of the adults says they have used voice search more than once a day. This is US data. What actually are they using it for right now? People are nice using voice search as a personal advisor. People are saying, hey Alexa, give me the best car insurance for me. Which dog is right for me? Best haircut for me. What should I get for lunch? How often should I wash my hair? How many credit cards? So you see what is happening is conversational, first person searches and immediate. Sadly but shockingly true, how often should I wash my hair? That's something which actually people are actually asking this Google Assistant and Alexa. So this is just an example. If you want to optimize your website for voice, this is the Google Assistant voice command. So you can look at the parameters and the patterns. So you see if the highlighted ones, how, what does, when, who, what, how far, what are the nearest. For example, in entertainment, who, sports, what. So these are some of the things which this is a list of command you can accordingly build. So see, most are these informational queries starting with the 6W. So for example, what, when, who, where, why, how. So these are the things which are happening through the voice search. 40% of the all voice search answers came from a featured snippet. So it's important, as I spoke before also, that you need to have a featured snippet and work. And this is a paragraph snippet and work. And look at the kind of question which is being asked. Of course, there is a voice search answer box. So Google answer box is another way which is there. So that's what we saw: paragraph, bullet point, charts, image, and video. That's what we were doing about that. How we can go about doing a voice search? It's a little bit over. For example, we saw those 6 W's. So those are important. Build your content around the questions. Optimize for local SEO. Use long tail keywords. Very, very important for you to do that. Incorporate long tail keywords to address more precise queries. Use a natural lang tone. What, where, when, how, these type of things. Add an FAQ page. Phrase the question the way real people would ask. provides comprehensive, clear answers. The four most common voice searches are: I want to know. Alexa, I want to know. Alexa, I want to go to this. Alexa, what do I need to do this? And Alexa, I need to buy these. These are the questions which really we are asking with the Alexa or Google Assistant for that matter. And of course, you also need to have your local SEO right, because most of the searches which are transactional, not the informational, are local in nature. So people, when they are voice searches, so that's what's happening. To dwell more into it, voice search is the new content strategy. Content and keyword. Content structure is different. More than 5 words. You have to understand that is a more than 5 words. Use words and phrase string that people say. So just going back when we talked about, I want to know, I want to go, I want to buy. These are the questions you need to incorporate. Use words and phrase that people say when they're asking real questions. Topic, keywords question. The keyword should answer the question you are trying to optimize for. The phrases should be in the first paragraph of your landing page. Look for keyword that involve questions and write content that answers those questions. So that is very, very important for the voice. Let's first touch a little bit of the mobile. As I said, more than half of the Google search happens on mobile. In fact, 60%. Worldwide, more than half of Google, there are almost non-mobile friendly sites are disappeared from Google results. Look at this data, almost how many mobile friendly sites. So you see number one results, almost 82% of the number one result is mobile optimized. This is how the world is, or how the industries have been adapted mobile. Retail, most mobile friendly. The e-commerce sites you would see, they are the one which adopted it fast. Most searches occur on mobile devices to support their mobile users. Google announced this year that they will be broadly rolling mobile first index. That's what happened in July. What actually does mean? The mobile first index means that Google will be looking primarily at your site mobile version to determine ranking. So is the case that when a customer comes to us, we actually are emphasizing more on the mobile side rather than the desktop. And we actually try to build their mobile first. So what we used to do previously, we used to have a desktop version and then we used to have a mobile version. Now it makes sense to build your mobile first and then have your desktop version. Just to briefly, how to optimize for Google mobile first index. Very, very important. Make your content consistent across desktop and mobile. Another very important thing, move from to responsive design. That's a recommendation. You should not have two websites, one for the mobile, let's say website.com/mobile or m.website.com. You should have same version for that. So that becomes very, very important for the mobile. Now, initially, if you remember, we talked about a little bit about the EAT updates, and let's see what happened with the EAT update and why it's important. On August 1, Google rolled out their core update, which was called as the Medic updates, and that's where the site EAT comes. So they actually mentioned about, Google actually tweeted about this Medic update. What actually Medic update did? These are the sites which are affected. So you see health industry, 41% was affected because of this Medic update. So this is very, very important, that this core algorithm, which changed a lot for the people. So, so Google has a quality raters which actually go to the websites and rate them for a quality for a testing purpose. And the Google quality rating guidelines is available online, which this on July 20th this year, last year, Google actually released a new quality rater guidelines. Document was pretty much same as the last year, but there was one difference in the document, and that was a focus on EAT: expertise, authoritiveness, and trustworthiness. That's called as EAT. So this is from the guide, and you could read about that. So this is where Google talks about expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. So I'm just talking about the same guide, which was quality rater guideline. This was something which was introduced. So Google told about that a site which looks like expertise, authoritative, trustworthy is actually a site which actually is going to be awarded. Reputation of the website or the creation of the main content become example. So just to summarize, for example, the guideline point out, we expect most websites to have some information. So for example, they would read what, individual, company, businesses, foundation. So it's no longer just if you do not have on your website a contact information, your site could suffer. This means you should have an about us page, easy to find contact us information, reference and external links to sources, privacy policy and terms of services. If you are an e-commerce site, you should have a return policy, a customer support numbers. Otherwise, your site could actually hurt based on this update. So EAT update is more emphasizing on these. Let's go to the next. As we now, very important trend which we've been showing is video content. Video content is going to help you win in 2019. Google isn't the only search engines. More users are going directly to Amazon, YouTube for searches. We go directly to Amazon if we have to buy something. In fact, YouTube is already the second largest search engines with more queries than Microsoft search engine Bing. Imagine that. And Cisco estimates that by 2020, video will be 80% of internet traffic. Video continues to grow and you need to be a part of it. Most of us, our data is consumed watching videos. Video is something which we are going to take very seriously this year, and I recommend for all of you people to take it very serious as well. Just to summarize, the future of search, brand building. It's important you build your brand. Understand this. From a rank brain point, even if you are nobody and ranking a number one and a known brand is ranking number three, there are chances number three would get better click. So it's important to do your brand building across the channels. It's important if, let's say, my website is ranking for a keyword and there's the Times of India ranking 2 below, might be because of the brand. Times of India will get better clicks. Sensory, of course, image search is getting important, accurate, and yes, mobile. That's what we are having. Just to wind it up, look at the third night, this kind of SERP features which are available. There are 37 SERP features which are available in Google. You could optimize standard, taller organic cards, local pegs, quick answers, shopping PLAs, product listing apps, rich snippets. I wouldn't be reading out all. So these are some of the search features which are happening in which are richer. So you see the opportunities are tremendous here. What we could do with search, and it gives something very interesting when we look as the SEO is just not about a job, about keywords anymore. It's getting more and more about the kind of content you could produce. And it's just not about ranking number one and that you should be done. Okay, my job as an SEO is somebody ranks number one, lands on my website, I'm done. No. If you see, dwell time is becoming important. The good thing is the SEO job which specifically in India was never taken seriously. And I've been saying this is where one time that the search or the SEO job is taken very seriously, because you are now going to be treated more like a marketer rather than just some link builder or an SEO. So it's time that we started implementing most of these changes. We have started doing it ourselves. With that, I end my presentations and I'll be open to questions. These are my coordinates on your screen. You could reach me via email and all my coordinates are there. Yeah. And I will hand the mic now back to Divya. Divya?
Thank you so much, Navneet. Thank you so much. So guys, we are open for questions. Feel free to pop down your questions in the text panel on the right hand side. And while you are writing down the questions, I am also launching out a poll for all of you. Just select, if you are interested in a digital marketing course, feel free, kindly select yes. If you are already a participant with us, select that you are already a participant. And I've got one question from Vivek. He wants to know what is the exact difference between transactional and navigational content and how should we optimize accordingly?
So navigational is, for example, if you are looking for navigational searches can be two. One navigational searches will be when you are looking for something specific to go to a place. Let's say you're looking for a dentist nearby. That's one navigational searches. It's important to remember that most of the navigational searches are going to be local based. So when you are looking for something like a restaurant near me or a tandoori restaurant near me, kebabs near me, that's where the natural navigational searches starts happening. And of course, when you are looking for a Apple store near me, you start becoming very important for those. So most of the time, it's important that you have your local optimization done right. Of course, you have the GMB, which is Google My Business, done. So those are the things which would actually make sense to be done doing there. Divya.
Thank you, Navneet. Guys, yes, we have got another question. Um, Alok wants to know, does backlinking really matters now, or was it of worth earlier?
backlinks will matter every time. So Google have tested that if they switch off their backlinks, what happens? And they are yet to see that a result could work without the backlinks, because the RankBrain job is only to pull up the websites which has some backlinks and which actually has some standing. So I'm not discounting backlinks, because backlinks are always going to be important. But what we are talking is what next when you already are ranking. What next if you are at number 10? It's not just the links which are going to move the needle, but it's more than links. It's about the dwell time. That's what we talked about. That's what's going to happen. Divya.
Thank you, Navneet. So everyone wants to know a little more about how dwell time and how the engagement rate is impacting, and what are the factors we should keep in mind while doing that. We have
See, I
got three,
think
four questions on that.
I think I answered most of it initially. If you go back, of course, recording of this webinar will be provided to you. If you go back to this, and you will see the rank brain system, the basically dwell time is if somebody is coming in less than, if somebody clicks on your result, goes to your website in less than 4 or 5 seconds, come back to and click on the next result, that higher bounce rate is actually going to result in your rankings going down. So that's something which becomes a problem now. Divya. Yeah. Divya, you there? Hello? Hello? I don't know what. So I will jump to the next question, which we have been asked to
Yes,
make our
I'm so
site more
sorry.
responsive. You there? Okay.
We have faced some network issues in between.
No problem. I'll
Yeah.
take the next question. So the next question is to make our site more responsive and fast, which tool should we use? Google responsiveness, Google Mobile Checker is one of the tool which you could use. That is one tool. However, there are certain techniques you could do. For example, you can move all your images to a CDN. You can use the short pixel or another tool to optimize your images. So those are some of the things which you can do to optimize them. So that's something you do. Divya, I'll take the next question again. So Shrivastan asked, what are the implied links? Are they going to be more important than backlinks? No, not exactly. I'm not sure if I specifically talked about implied links. All backlinks are backlinks, and backlinks will stay to be important. But they are also important that you just don't have backlink going to your website. It's important you have the backlinks, outbound backlinks also. So linking to authoritative sites is also important. So that's something you can talk. Uh, One more user asked the dwell in the bounce rate, which I have answered for you guys. Varun asked how to know our written title is right. This is very interesting question. So see, the only way to know your written title is right when you are getting, you have a better CTR. So if I'm number 3 and I'm getting 20% of the clicks, that's a good CTR. But if I'm number 1 and I'm just getting 5, if let's say I know that keyword is just 1,000 times, and if I'm just getting 50 clicks for that, that is a bad title. So best part is when you are looking for the title, search the title in Google, you would see the AdWords results. And why am I saying is those AdWords results? Because there are lots and lots of advertisers who are actually putting lot of money into it and actually are spend a lot of time researching what kind of a title is going to be good there. So pick some of those. It's more about test how those titles increases their click-through rate or not. uh, Tagata asked, so in today's scenario, people also should complete their reading the content in order to page ranking. Yes, it's become important. Your page is scannable, readable, as we talked about the rank brain. More importantly, it's important to sustain your ranking. These all things are going to be very, very important. Alok just asked, grammar in English content matters because I read somewhere. Yes, Google is getting more and more smarter. You can't just spin a write-up and just post it there and expect it to be ranking. Nafis asks, are keywords still the king or the content? I would say content is the king. It always was, but it's important that you choose your keyword based on the kind of searches you have, as I mentioned about transactional, informational, or navigation built around that. And that's somewhere you should be doing most of the work about. Pradeep asks, is Joomla better for SEO? Personally, we prefer WordPress, but yes, there is no harm in using Joomla as long as you have done all of these things right. Umang asked difference between reference link and backlink. So a reference link is when you are referring to a website. So for example, if I'm talking about an iPhone and I'm not linking to Apple website, that is something important. A reference links is mostly going to be outbound. It's not going to be the backlinks which is going to be. So in your write-up, if you are referring to particular resources or particular authority sites, that's something which helps. Sachin asked, what are the things we need to do more sticky on page to reduce bounce rate? Very simple. Have a title and have the headline which matches the user intent. If you can have a video embedded, nothing like that. And also have the content broken into pieces. So they just don't have a content where you have the heading and all the content is paragraph. That's something which helps. And of course, there is most of this is, and of course, the speed is very, very important. Almitra asks, what are the future job prospects in field of digital marketing, especially SEO? Of course, the job in SEO is going to be, as I said, more and more interesting. It becomes important for you to understand that the SEO is going to be an integral part and it's not going anywhere. Remember, guys, even if Google keeps on tweaking, you still have to understand that's the #1 free source in the world. And I don't think it's going to change. So the SEO is important. There are a lot of companies. And the best part is this type of an SEO is a different SEO. It will require a specialization. So it's not easy. Just join a company and 6 months will become like an SEO. This will come with perseverance, and this will come with lots and lots of hard work. So the future is more brighter than the last year, I would say. Srivastava asked, FAQ page mostly have lesser dwell time and how bounce rate can still be informational. How does Google rank them? Google rank them for a featured snippet. FAQ is best to have ranking for a featured snippet, a paragraph snippet where you could question those. You could have a long expanded FAQs, and Google actually prefers those. That's something which I've seen. Alind asked, do blog are relevant in 2019 that video are generating more traffic day by day? You have to see it's like a part of your marketing mix. You just can't have everything on a video. Just a vice versa. I can't just have my blog and think blog is enough. You need to have, where can I get more visitors from? Okay, hey, there is YouTube, I can have that. There is a blog, a lot of people will land, I can have that. So that's something we could do about that. And another question which comes is how we come to know that people have really read it or not. Of course, you could use, Google gives you that. You could use a Hotjar solution to track visitors, and the heat maps are very, very good. We offer all our customers now heat map because of this rank print. So heat maps are important. Sachin asks, what is good, WordPress or ASP? So personally, I prefer WordPress. Been a long time we work with the ASP. Hemal Gandhi asked how to deal with negative reviews. So the best part to deal with negative reviews is to reply them, resolve them. But it's also important to keep on thanking for the positive reviews. You need to look like a responsive brand where people, if something they say, you don't need to fight them. You don't need to fight fire with fire. An answer is important because when another user comes to your website, they see, yeah, this is the guy, this is the company which actually take care of their customers. So that becomes important. Anuradha asked best practices we should keep in mind to update our content for voice search. I spoke a little bit about it. Anuradha, if you can go back into the presentation, you would find that. Nafis asked, could you please share more lights on the transactional searches? Yes, transaction searches when people are looking for specifics like shoes. So you're looking for an iPhone 10 or you are looking for a specific shoe size. So basically, mostly e-commerce searches where you are trending to buy something. Those are which you're likely to buy are called as the transaction services. Umang asked, radio between do follow and no follow. I would still say 50-50 mix should also be good. You need to have your profile natural, and that's what it should be. Nan Kishore asked, how do I create a do follow backlinks over a high authority page? I would say this is not something I could be very specifically reply here. It will take almost another webinar to do that. Swapnil asked how to rank a keyword within a week. Is that possible? Yes, it is possible, but it depends. If you are a new website, you launched yesterday, it's not. If you are a bigger website, you could do that based on the keywords and of course on longer content. It's very, very important that you write an in-depth content. That's something which is going to help. Vivek asked for snippets to get visible. Our website should be ranked top 3. No, it should be ranked in top 10. It's not top 3, a top 10. Basically page 1, Vivek. Can I copy competitor backlinks? Absolutely. Why not? As long as they are good and relevant, you should do that. And how do I know our meta description is right? Again, same way. If you see meta description is like an ad, do you feel it solves customer problem for that particular keyword? Then the meta descriptions are right. So you could click on those metas and see that jet meta is actually enticing people to click on your ad. So that's something you say. Satyajit asks, are long tail keywords becoming more important than the short tail? No, actually, the long tail keywords are becoming lesser important. I spoke. The mid level, the short, not the medium level tail keywords are something which are getting more and more important because of just like a broader search keyword is becoming more important because then you rank for a variety of keywords. Alok just asked, like you said, the speed matters. So what kind of a hosting we should buy? There are certain hosting sites. I won't say SiteGround is a good hosting. So the speed is where if your visitors is going to be. So there the site should not have a downtime and the hosting company should have a good record of that. So Hemant Gandhi asked, what are the best activities to perform as a part of off-page? I would say there are a lot of activities you could do as an off-page, guest blogs, local results, topical links, local links. Those are the best. So gone are the days we'll just build articles, social bookmarking, classifieds, and write. How can we, Reshma asked, how can we optimize for voice search? As I said, I have answered that before also. And Tatagat asked for how come you know the people have read or your content or not. Google Analytics, and you can try Hotjar. That's another tool which you could use if you could sign up for free. That's something you could do. And Devesh asked how to see what keywords our competition are using. You could try that with SEMrush, Devesh, or with Hrefs. And for Umang asked, there is a Chrome extension for SEO. Except web developer toolbar, I won't recommend much of it, Umang. Mahesh asked, how long tail keyword help voice searches? Don't they? Then why is long tail keywords losing importance? Good question. The thing is, when you are looking for certain long tail keywords, you still need to think that you need to build the page for a optimize. So for example, just an example, if I'm going to ask best dentist near me or best dentist in Delhi, which is the best dentist in Delhi, that becomes a long tail keyword. But if I'm just going to target a keyword dentist in Delhi or best dentist in Delhi and incorporate this content also, that's where it's going to trigger the voice search. So they are not losing importance, but I would prefer, besides voice search, to have a medium tail keyword as well. With this, guys, we have ended all our Q&As, and let me check if Divya is back. Divya? Okay, she's
Yes,
not here right now. So,
yes, I'm.
hello? Yeah, you are here. Okay, see, I've answered almost all the questions.
Why I went through. You have answered all the questions. Thank you so much, Navneet. And thank you so much, everyone, for being such an engaging audience in today's session. I have launched out a last poll for your feedback of the session. Just select how you felt with today's session, and we'll share out the recording with you by Tuesday. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, and bye bye. Have a great weekend and happy Republic Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.